Pentateuch means simply 5 books. In Greek, the Pentateuch, which includes the book of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope you're not rolling on this because I'm completely bored.
I mean, he's gotten grouchier in the last month.
Are we rolling?
You're alive.
We can be.
Oh. All right. Well, welcome back to the show, folks. God, it's been a month since we were here on.
Well, it's your fault we haven't been here. I'm sorry. I'm so busy.
Well, I went on a
ran away with your family somewhere. God knows where.
I did. Well, we went on an 18-day, 12-state, 4,000-mile road trip.
Your favorite state was?
South Carolina, North Carolina, the border of the two. Oh. Yeah, the western part of those states. The Asheville, Greenville area is the nicest little pocket that I have seen in America in a long time, particularly Greenville. It's like too perfect. It's kind of unbelievable.
Where's I was thinking of the Greenbrier Resort, which is in West Virginia.
Yeah, no, this is not that. Yeah.
Which is where you go after a nuclear apocalypse.
But the Biltmore estate is in Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay.
Well, that's
a nice time with the family.
We had a great time. So we're sorry that I haven't been here. What?
I mean, that's a huge triangle for golf, for horses.
Yes.
I mean, it's Kentucky.
What the hell made you go there?
My son went to a camp up there for 6 days, a sleepover camp. So we drove him up.
So you slept. Wait a minute. You basically schlepped, airmailed your kid out to some in the middle.
Airmail him. We drove him out there.
Yeah, it's illegal to airmail a child.
Is it?
Yeah, you can't put him in the.
So what made you? What made you? I mean, you could drive him to Tyler, Texas, and be rid of him. You had to ship him 15 more hours.
Long story.
You can't stand your kids. Is that what this is about?
Long story made short. He's on the spectrum. And this is a
What does that mean, he's on the spectrum?
I know, you should know you're on the spectrum, Walter.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
I didn't know your kid was autistic.
I've told you 3 times, but you just didn't listen. Yes. So
maybe I'm autistic.
Yes. So this camp is specifically for kids like him who are high-functioning autistic.
Wow.
Yeah. So we drove him up there.
You're high-functioning. Are you autistic?
I would say I'm low-functioning, non-autistic.
Just a little drunk, that's all.
Yeah,
I get it.
I hope you guys have had a great month.
I have. I think I've developed a better sense of humor since we've gone.
I doubt that very much. So there's nothing going on in the world of sports. Should we just talk politics? Because there's been a few things happen there.
What do you mean nothing's going on in the world of sports? Canada just kicked off their women's soccer coach.
Yeah, they did, for spying.
And not just once. Apparently, this has happened a lot.
Yep. The Bill Belichick of soccer.
She did a better job of stealing signs than the Secret Service does of protecting our candidates.
Oh, I was trying to turn it, and we came right back.
Well, I mean, is that true? I mean, she uses drones. Does the FBI use? I mean, does the Secret Service use drones? What's that on top of a roof? I don't know. A couple of leaves.
I swear to God, if I hear one more conspiracy theory about it, I'm just going to throw up.
Why,
the left thinks it's this conspiracy. The right thinks it's another conspiracy. I got news for you, folks. If you want to find evidence of a conspiracy, you can always try to find evidence. It's a little bit like gazing at the stars. If you put enough dots together, you can make out some shapes. Yeah, you can.
The problem is you just don't get the facts of the case, so to speak, from reputable sources, news organizations. You just don't know what the facts are anymore in this country.
But when you get them, nobody believes them, Walter, and that's the point.
That's because you can't trust anybody.
You
can't trust anybody.
Can you trust
point. If somebody came out to you and said, "You know what? Trump got hit with he didn't get shot in the ear. He got hit with a shrapnel from a bullet." That's bullshit. No way, that didn't happen. Well, apparently that may have happened, according to the FBI. Well, was it the FBI that said it, or did somebody say a third party? You just don't know. There's so much crap out there. You don't know what to believe anymore.
That was the Steve Bannon playbook. Flood the zone with bullshit. You've heard that before?
No, I don't listen to anything he says.
But that's Steve Bannon's thing. If you flood the zone with bullshit, then nobody believes anything. And
if you tell them 1,000,000 times, eventually it becomes reality.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So there's really been nothing. But we have I guess, what, Bob?
Well, I mean, we have some NFL training camp news. Aaron Rodgers took a fine to go take a vacation in Egypt.
All right, let's. You're going to go there.
Russell Wilson is injured.
Good for the Steelers. That means they're going to have to play Justin Fields.
I saw a kicker got hurt, and then he's out for the season.
What? That's not a news story, is it?
And then the Cowboys are doing cowboy things.
And Michael Gallup retired. I saw that today. It's kind of crazy.
And I mean, in news, I mean, not sports news, but we lost quite a few, big name celebrities. Bob Newhart.
I can't believe that Bob Newhart's gone.
Are you okay?
That was his deal. He always stuttered his lines.
So on Sunday, I'm just flipping through the channels, and I'll watch Big Bang Theory in the background, and they ran basically all the Big Bang Theories where Bob Newhart was in it as kind of a tribute.
Nice.
I watched the Big Bang Theory, and I watched it every night when it was on, every week when it was on regular television until the end of the series. Then it got just stupid. But now Big Bang is the kind of show. It's almost like watching Aaron Judge for the Yankees. When Aaron Judge comes to the plate, yeah, I'm gonna watch him swing. When Penny is on screen, I'm gonna watch Big Bang Theory.
So do you watch a lot of Priceline commercials then too?
No,
I've never seen one second of that show.
She doesn't look that good in there. But Penny in bathing suits during Big Bang is pretty good.
Oh God,
she's hot stuff.
I've never seen 1 second of that show.
Good for you.
So I am going to set down a bet for the Olympics.
Okay, tell me about it.
I am going to take any team that America plays and the points in every game.
You're talking about USA basketball.
Yes, I am. USA men's basketball.
I guess you guys watched some of the lead-up games because I watched all of them.
How was that game against South Sudan? I didn't realize. I mean, is North Sudan in the Olympics too?
Wow. I honestly did not know that they had separated, but I should have paid more attention.
I didn't know they played basketball there.
They're really good, by the way. They are not a bad team. They have like 4 or 5 former NBA players. They have Muriel Shayok, who probably most people remember him from his career at Virginia. Like
never heard of him.
He was a good player, man. Like a really good college basketball player.
Well, let's start there. So KD and Steph at a news conference either in yesterday or the day before talked about the fact that the Dream Team faced 9 NBA players.
That's right.
This group here for Team USA will face 65 to 66 NBA players.
It's a big difference, man.
It is
an enormous difference.
It is a big difference, and that's interesting because I've heard a lot. I've heard one particular pundit say, "No comparisons with the '92 Dream Team. Don't do it. It's sacrosanct." And I'm like, I don't know. Let's compare and contrast.
You can do some comparisons, but at the end of the day, the reason that it's a global game now is because of that '92 Dream Team.
Yeah.
And if you want to put the best 7 from '92 up against the best 7 from 2024, I think it's a much more interesting game than people give it credit for. It's just that the competition around that's around FIBA basketball now has changed.
Yeah, Don't yell at me, but top to bottom, the roster of this Olympic team is better than the roster from '92, top to bottom. But the rest of the world has caught up, so that gap is smaller, even though that gap is still there.
And here's and obviously this has been a problem from USA basketball since 20 years ago. They don't play together enough to become a team and gel and do all those things. And then the president of basketball,
Grant Hill?
And the head of the
Jerry Colangelo?
Yes. He started the whole thing where, all right, we're going to draft these players. You're going to spend 4 years with us, and then there will be a better Olympic team. Well, that was great until that next class had to step in, which these guys have, and they haven't played together at all. They don't know how to play together, and so they're gonna face some challenges, and maybe. Is it possible they get knocked off? Sure.
I'm here to tell you they're going to lose a game. I don't know whether it's going to be in group play or whether it's going to be in tournament play, but they are going to lose a game.
Will they
They're not that good. I don't know. They're going to lose a game, Walter.
But
I don't know where it's going to be.
They're more talented than any team that's out there that they'll face.
Yeah, but it's not that big a gap. Canada's really fucking good. They have a roster full of NBA guys.
And you can't fly a drone in the arena, so Canada's okay.
That's soccer. France is supposedly good, even though they didn't win a game running up to the tournament.
France is my pick for the 2028 Olympics.
Yeah, because Wemby is going to be the greatest
All
player
right,
on the planet.
as a San Antonio resident, will you root? Say France plays the United States, and I don't think France is in our group, but somewhere along the line, if they face each other, are you rooting for France or are you rooting for Team USA?
No, I'll root for Wemby to have a great game and lose. I mean, I'm absolutely look. I may be the exception to this, but I actually love FIBA basketball. I like it in a lot of ways more than I like the NBA. I think that it is more aesthetically pleasing. You see a lot more ball rotation. And one of the reasons that Team USA isn't
ball rotation.
One of the reasons that Team USA isn't that good in the international game is that we play too much one-on-one and too much pick and roll. We don't move the basketball well enough. And these other teams, you watch them run sets. They run shooters off screens. Did you watch Germany against USA? Like,
missed it.
It's beautiful basketball that Germany's playing.
Okay.
And they're another really good team that could win.
But you know what? They
gold.
couldn't beat the best team in the NBA. So, maybe their system works internationally, but it doesn't necessarily. You're not necessarily going to beat Team USA.
What are you saying there? I don't understand.
Well, you're talking about what a beautiful game it is that Germany plays, and they move the ball around and all that kind of stuff. But are they going to be able to beat? Could they beat Golden State in Golden State's heyday? Of course not. They're not capable of doing that.
What the hell does that have to do with anything?
You're making it out like Germany just discovered the greatest way to play basketball.
No. I'm saying the rules of FIBA change things so that the ball has to move much more. The lack of defensive 3 seconds means you can play a real zone. It's just a more aesthetically pleasing game to me. Okay. I'm not talking about who's better or worse. I'm talking about the game itself.
I like the NBA game the way it is.
And one of the things that I really like about watching Team USA play right now is when they get a bucket, dude, the bench goes crazy. These are multi-$100 million athletes at the end of the bench going apeshit for their teammates in a preliminary game. Like, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, you got LeBron carrying the flag tonight. So listen, it's their front and center.
How good is fucking LeBron James? He's fucking 40 years old, and he's the best player on the planet.
And what he did in one of those training preseason games for this Olympics. What he did, he had the final 12 points
11,
of the game.
I think it was.
I mean, and here, like you said, he's 40 years old or whatever he is. I don't understand the hatred for LeBron James. I don't get it. Everywhere he went, he basically fulfilled his promise. He brought your city a title. What more the hell do you want out of the guy?
Yeah, he's not perfect, okay? He's kind of annoying sometimes.
He's as close to perfect as they have in sports.
Yeah, he's pretty damn good.
He definitely isn't scandalous at all. He's pretty much done a lot of good things. Yeah. The only thing that we can only say bad about him is, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach.
Yeah, some of his stuff is disingenuous.
20 years ago.
Yeah, and a lot of it's disingenuous. But if you're in the public eye for that long, you're going to look like an asshole once in a while. Yeah. What's amazing to me is how much this Team USA team leans on him when the nut cutting comes, and he's 40 fucking years old. But by the way, if Team USA is to win gold, they're going to need a lot more than just LeBron in the clutch. It's going to need to be Anthony Edwards. I'm going to tell you from watching 3 games, Joel Embiid shouldn't fucking play. He does not suit the international game. He doesn't guard, doesn't play any defense. The Anthony Davis Bam Adebayo combination down low is really nice to watch.
All right, let's jump over to the Spurs. Their number is 35.5. A lot of folks that I've talked and
wait. What's that reaction from Bob?
I don't know, because I was talking to a friend of mine that I said, if they finish at 400 or not 400, 500, I can't do math, 500 and win 41 games, I'm going to be very, very pleasantly surprised. So that number seems maybe even a little high to me. I would almost take the under.
All right. Continue, Wally.
All right. So I've heard a lot of people talk about going over here, and I might as well, because 35.5. I was thinking maybe about 37. But here's my logic about this, because a lot of guys are thinking, oh, they're a play-in a challenger here. All right, here's what you need to know. First of all, to get into the play-in, you needed to have 46 wins. Mm-hmm. The Spurs had 22. Okay, but they were also 15-26 in the second half. They were 4-3 in April, and maybe you look at the games in April as throwaways. I do because no one cares.
Wait a minute. They were 15-26
In the second half.
Yeah, that's 9 games under 500. Sorry, 11 games under 500.
30.
That's terrible.
All right, so say they're let's say they're the 15-26 team rather than the first half team that we saw last season. So they go on, they win 30 games. All right, so you look at them as a 30-game team. How much is CP3 going to add to them? I don't think he adds anything. Trey Jones was just as good as he was statistically. I'm sure CP3 is going to bring all this experience and all that stuff. But he's no better than Trey Jones. I don't see a big lift there. Wemby's certainly going to get better. Harrison Barnes. The best thing about Harrison Barnes is he's always available. He's played the last 2 seasons, 82 games in each of them. Half of his 9 shots per game are from 3, so he's going to improve them from 3-point land. But the Spurs are at the bottom of the league in 3-point shooting. They were the bottom of the league in defense, 28th in turnovers per game.
Chris Paul helps that a lot. And don't downplay the fact that having 2 good ball handling point guards is better than having just one.
All right, so CP3 had 1.3 turnovers per game. Trey had 1.5.
That's my point. Like,
what's your point?
Now you have 2 of them. Trey didn't play 48 minutes every game.
I understand that, but everybody craps all over Trey Jones and saying, well, they finally got a better point guard than Trey Jones. CP3 is not that guy.
CP3 is a long way from being the great CP3 of old.
Of course he is.
But he's going to make us play a better brand of basketball, which is why I'm thrilled to have him. We're still going to lose a lot of games, okay? And if you're asking me right now, we are way under 35. I bet we win about 30 games. I'm serious. And one of the reasons that I think a lot of people aren't taking into account is health and rest. Wemby's going to be coming off an Olympics. You're not going to be playing him 40 minutes a night in year 2. You're just not going to. You need to rest him. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an injury in this season just based on how much he's been playing. Chris Paul is never healthy anymore at this stage of his career, so he's going to miss a lot of time. You're right. Harrison Barnes has been available. That's his number one thing. He also kind of doesn't impact winning very much. Like, that's just not who he is.
He's a solid player.
He's a solid player, but he doesn't impact winning that much. He is a reciprocal player. He's gonna receive the ball from Wemby. He's not going to create for Wemby.
No, of course not.
Okay, so I think we're going to be better. We're going to play better basketball, and I think that's good to be a better brand out there. That's how you learn how to play. But at the same time, they're not going to win a lot of games, man. I think everybody who thinks we're going to the play-in game is fucking crazy.
I'm with you. Yeah. I'm absolutely with you. I don't see it. It's not that much of a. There hasn't been that much of a turnover from a season ago where they were terrible.
The biggest difference in this upcoming season to me is actually Stephon Castle. Have you guys fucking watched this guy in Summer League?
It's Summer League. Nothing matters.
I hate it when people do this shit.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
It does.
It doesn't matter.
It does.
Tell me what over the last 15 years. Tell me what has come out of the Spurs Summer League. In the last 15 years. Tell me.
We saw Kyle Anderson prove himself out there.
Oh, he's been a great player, hasn't he? Kyle Anderson sucks. You saw maybe 4 guys emerge from Spurs Summer League over the last 20 years, and they were all small shooting guards.
Walter, they're also emerging from like the 28th draft pick. That's not my point. My point, I've watched Summer League. I've devoutly watched Summer League for most of my life. For whatever reason, I love it.
It's a waste of time.
Wrong. The very first time I watched Chris Paul play on an NBA court was in the Summer League, and it took 1 second for me to say, that's an all-star. 1 second. And he was a high draft pick, and it took similarly.
What are you doing recycling? You should be a GM in the NBA.
I would love to be. You watch Stephon Castle.
Not surprised.
1 second on an NBA floor, and you go, that guy fits. He guards like a son of a bitch. He has great instincts to get the ball on defense, off the glass, everywhere. I love everything about Castle. That shot of his sucks, but it's going to come along. I love him as a secondary playmaker on this Spurs team.
Okay.
I think this is going to work well, but it's not going to translate to winning 41 games or 37 games.
But he's a number one. He's what was he? The
Number 4.
Okay, so anybody that's in the top 10, you expect him to play well, summer league or not. That doesn't matter. But I mean, people look at summer league like this is the be all end all. It doesn't matter. 99% of the guys that you watch in summer league don't make it to the NBA, so it's irrelevant.
Yeah, you're looking to watch those guys that you care about.
The one guy.
You're one guy. That's
Okay.
what you're looking to watch. You're not trying.
How many games did he play? 1?
2.
2 games?
Yeah.
Maybe 1.5 before they shut him down?
2. Yeah.
So we've already determined he's an all-star. Get his plaque
I'm not
ready.
saying he's an all-star.
All right.
I'm telling you, I like the kid a lot, and I think the Spurs did great in the draft. And you read a bunch of things, and they grade out the Spurs draft. Look, everybody thinks the Spurs had an A or an A+ in that
because
draft.
they drafted Castle and they made some draft pick acquisitions.
They made some great stuff with Minnesota. They get a pick swap in 30, and they get Minnesota's pick in 31. Those are great deals for when Anthony Edwards is playing in New York City.
Okay.
I think it's great.
TNT was out. Then they say they would match Amazon's offer, and then the NBA said, I don't think so. So here's what we do know. This is back. John
Tesh.
John Tesh is back. As NBC will scoop up part of the NBA package. But TNT, they're going to go to court on this whole thing. They thought they had a right to match Amazon's offer. That was the one they went after because for whatever reason. But after next season, unless something crazy happens in court, Kenny, Charles, Shaq, Ernie are done.
I don't care.
Don't care.
No. Why would I care?
Well, because a lot of people care. They think that's the best pregame show, the best studio show in the country.
Nobody watches basketball to see the studio show, Walter.
I mean,
You don't?
No. Who watches basketball to see the studio show?
I watch. Well, if you're watching a TNT game, you watch it, don't you?
no.
I do.
I mean, I watch it more often than I watch the others, but if I just change the channel,
I don't watch any of the other ones other than that one.
Yeah. I don't either.
But the world moves on. I mean, people age. They age out of relevance.
Oh, okay.
It means Biden
I-
passing the
Guys are all
torch.
crapping on this. Okay.
I will say
F you
this.
then, right?
I will say this about that. I think that we have learned from the NFL a little bit. I think we're going to learn more at this Olympics, and I think we'll learn even more about it when the NBA changes its channels. That when these platforms decide to make it more difficult to watch, viewership goes down. Like, you're hurting your own product by making it more difficult to watch. When the NBA,
They don't care.
when the Olympics are on, they should care because
They
viewership
don't.
is how you get advertisement. Look, have you tried to watch the Olympics yet, guys?
Hasn't
It's
started
really,
yet.
It's really fucking hard. Yeah,
Actually,
it's
it
been on
has.
for 2 days.
Yes, nobody won one soccer match. The opening ceremonies are tonight.
No, women's soccer and rugby sevens have already started.
Oh God Almighty! Stop the nonsense.
I mean, you're not watching rugby sevens?
But it's really hard to figure out
We
where
lost to
and when
Australia.
to watch your shit. And like with the NFL last year, with the Amazon.
Yeah, but
with
when
them
they're
going to
cashing
Amazon.
all these checks, you think they give a crap that you have trouble finding the channel?
Well, I guess my point, Walt, is that those broadcast deals are made based on viewership, right?
I get all that.
And I think that the next time these things come up,
I don't
if
think
there's
so.
less viewership, you're going to have less money.
Yeah, but they
the
have a
case.
desire to be in bed with these sports leagues to the point where, yeah, we're going to pay billions. Look at the amount of money that's exchanging hands here in the NBA. They got to know that it's going to be difficult to find their channel.
Sports are always a good thing for a broadcaster or an online provider to have because it's inventory.
Yeah, that's
It
right.
is inventory that comes in and it's coming in and it's fresh. It's inventory.
Hey, listen, if you're a Spurs fan, you know where your game is. What they're trying to get is they're trying to find that person who doesn't watch the NBA and gets Amazon Prime. Oh, look at that. The Spurs are on. Maybe I'll watch this. Excuse me.
Okay, I think I follow you there. I just don't know. I don't think it's going to work.
And
I think
Well, it has.
I think making these games harder to find is not going to parlay itself into more viewers.
And I'm with you. And continuing on the Olympic theme, I'm like, years ago, I was an Olympic junkie. I mean, I knew which channels to go through and which ones to bounce and everything. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, they don't care that you can't find the game. All they're concerned about is somebody willing to pay us to have our games on.
That's the league.
And yes,
That's the
but
league
that's
side.
so. Why do you think they would care about losing viewers?
It's not the league. It's their partners. It's the Amazons of the world.
But they're
not going to get their money's worth because people aren't going to be able to fucking find it.
But did you see how much they were willing to pony up?
It's a lot of money.
And are
You don't-
going to?
You don't say no to the deal if you're the NBA. I'm not suggesting that.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting that.
Then you're telling me Amazon's stupid. They should not pay that much money because they're not going to get the viewers.
I mean, it's
That's what I'm saying.
I don't buy it.
I mean, Amazon and all these online providers, a actual honest look at what their balance sheet looks like and what they're spending. I mean, how many hundreds of millions of dollars did they spend for Rings of Power? Did you watch any of that, Walter?
No, what is that?
No.
Set Fantasy World has
Sounds terrible.
Rosamund Pike in it.
Okay.
It sounds
Anyway,
terrible.
yeah, that's why I've never heard of it.
Rosamund Pike's
But they paid
attractive.
what? They paid what?
It's hundreds of millions of dollars to produce that because they made it in house.
Look, I understand everybody needs content, right? And there are so many platforms now that you have to have content on your platform. And that's why, God damn, if I could write movies or make movies or documentaries right now, I should have gone down that road because there's more platforms now than there's ever been before by
Start your own-
20-fold.
Get into OnlyFans. You would pay for OnlyFans for a Jeff Bexler spot, wouldn't you?
Oh
Bob?
God, no! I'd pay money to not have the memory that exists. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of lots of money, obviously the Cowboys, they had their news conference yesterday. No CD. Dak is there. Micah wants a new deal, and I've said this before. And obviously this is the Cowboys, so everybody wants to talk about this stuff. I'm not re-signing Dak Prescott. He did, and I keep hearing, well, Dak's got all the leverage. How the hell does Dak have leverage? The Cowboys have the leverage because you know why? Dak is signed. Dak has to play this year. And listen, he can sit out the whole season, but that's not going to happen. So Dak plays this whole year, and if he wins the Cowboys a Super Bowl, then Jerry Jones will name the stadium after Dak Prescott. And if he doesn't, guess what happens? They let him go.
Yeah.
Because at some point you got to just say, you know what? Dak can't get the job done for us. You let him go. There's no way in hell that Cowboys are going to pay Dak Prescott $50-60 million to be their quarterback. You can't do that. You're killing yourself by doing that unless he wins the Super Bowl.
Dak's
What's the problem?
not the problem. The coaching staff in the front office is the problem. The culture at that organization is the problem.
You're still right. You're right, Bob. Dak is not the problem, but if he can't win you the whole damn thing, I don't care what his name is. I don't care if he is or isn't the problem. You can't pay him $50 million a year.
He is part of the problem.
If you're paying $50 million, that quarterback has to be the reason you win. And he's never going to be that, so you can't give him $50 million.
No, of course not, unless he goes out and wins the Super Bowl this year. And Dak is part of the problem because Dak does not show up in these big playoff games as he did when they lost.
Yeah.
Simple.
Except if you're an NFL team, that is about market rate for an average middle-of-the-road quarterback.
60?
50 to 60, yeah.
No, it's not.
For new quarterbacks going forward, for new contracts going forward, yeah, it is.
Well, then your team is screwed because you can't. Listen. The Cowboys are in a difficult position because CD wants to be the highest paid wide receiver, Micah wants to be the highest paid defensive end, and Dak wants to be the highest paid quarterback. You can't do that. You're not going to be able to survive. So I think the Cowboys are doing this the right way. Don't pay Dak until he delivers, and if he doesn't deliver, then he's been here 9 seasons. That's it.
It's time to cut bait.
Yes.
Yeah. I will disagree that it's not Super Bowl or bust, but your point is still well made. Like he has to prove himself, and he has to prove it in the playoffs for me to even consider putting him at $50 million.
Absolutely. Let me give you a couple quick ones here. Reason number 599 why I cannot watch soccer. I watched the Copa American championship match, the entire thing, and to watch those players fall all over the place like they got shot from the stands is the most ridiculous thing and I can't respect that. How can Americans watch that kind of crap?
It is frustrating. I agree.
It's laughable.
It is the worst part about the sport. It is by far.
It's the worst part about any sport.
And I have to add, it's really bad with South American teams. Really, really bad.
I think that's racist, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's just the brand of soccer. But when you watch the Copa America in the evenings, and the Euros in the afternoon or morning, the difference in soccer was so obvious. It's so much better the way the Europeans play, and there's so much less of the bullshit.
It's more than that. It's the fucking. It's the. God, the old cops, the Keystone Cops. It's Keystone Cops versus like professionals. You look at the actual administration of that tournament, the administration of the games, plus the fact that they played on small pitches. And yes, I'm going to use pitches pretentiously, versus looking at what's in UEFA. You even look at that goal that Uruguay scored on USA, where they were reviewing it in VAR, and they couldn't overturn it for an offsides because they didn't have the right camera angle, which they would have had if they were playing in Europe.
You're right. It's a different run tournament. It's a different game. It was obvious. And by the way, Berhalter out as USMNT coach, which was a long time coming. They should have gotten rid of him about 2 years ago. And now they're at the Olympics. They got throttled by France. They're about to play Germany and get killed.
We're not any good at the sport. That's all there is to it.
It's frustrating.
And we'll never be that good at the sport. That's it.
It's frustrating to me. I grew up playing soccer, and I grew up caring about the growth of USA soccer.
It's never going to happen.
And we have never taken a real measurable step forward.
I think I told you that when we first did our show together.
You probably did.
This is never going to get any better than it is today. And guess what? It hasn't.
It has not changed. It has not changed much.
No. But it can.
No, it can't.
Yes, it can.
No,
I agree with Bob 100%.
By what?
Absolutely
getting a better coach?
Getting better athletes to play the sport growing
then
up.
They're going to go play. They're going to go play where the best leagues are, and they're not in the United States.
That's right. And most of our players nowadays go play in other leagues, which is totally fine.
Okay. So you're not going to get them to play here. So that's all there is to it.
Okay.
I don't know.
That doesn't equate to the U.S. team being bad.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about USA soccer for the last 30 years, and it hasn't gotten better in the last 30 years than it was 30 years ago.
I know. It's frustrating to me. I don't think you're wrong.
So what makes you think it's going to get better?
There are ways to improve our program, and we have to make those decisions. I've said this for a long time. It's probably the first time I've ever said it on this show, but soccer and football in high school should never overlap. Soccer should overlap baseball and be a spring sport so that you can get football players who are off season to work on their conditioning in soccer. And you're going to get better athletes in the game. Somebody I read said when we start getting the running backs, the Saquon Barkleys, when they realize that being a running back only pays you for 2 years, and that if you're a great soccer player, you're making hundreds of millions of dollars per annum. When we start getting the Saquon Barkleys to play soccer, that's when it changes.
And USA men's soccer has gotten markedly better over the last couple of decades. The problem with USA men's soccer on the international field is every other team has also gotten better. We've probably improved better than they have as a incremental, but they have gotten better. So the gap has gotten smaller, but we're still not good compared to the rest of them.
It's very frustrating for me to watch Team USA men. Very frustrating.
I mean,
they don't play good soccer. They don't control the ball, which is fucking annoying. We have no player who can create with his feet. I mean, it's frustrating. Pulisic is pretty much the only person who can create with his feet. It's like, I don't know. It's like having a basketball team without a point guard.
We're the minor leagues.
Yeah.
At best.
Oh, you're talking about our professional league. Yeah, it's very much a minor league.
I'm just the men's national team looks like a minor league compared to the top European teams.
Well, they're ranked 16th in the world. It's not
terrible.
And they are so far from the top, it's not even funny.
I agree.
It's
I
like
agree.
standing at base camp at Mount Everest.
Better than Mexico.
You're a mile away.
I got a couple things real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
And then I'll go back to you. In the news this morning, we'll see how this continues as the news breaks. But a major arson on the train line in Paris, apparently affecting a number of athletes in getting to the opening ceremonies, and obviously people have paid a whole lot of money to get to those spots. It's going to impact something like 1 million people on this rail.
There was also apparently a labor dispute between the dancers for the opening ceremony that had also just gotten resolved, so the dancers will be there for the opening ceremony.
Well, thank God. One more quick, two more quick Olympic notes.
God, no.
First time we've ever had USA basketball 3-on-3 in the Olympics.
Don't care.
Did y'all know that? Well, would it make you care if I told you that Jimmer Fredette is our best player on our men's 3-on-3 team?
Don't care.
I think it's going to be interesting to watch 3-on-3.
No,
I'll
it's
watch
really
it.
not. Here's my interest level in order of the Olympics: basketball, women's gymnastic, maybe golf, and swimming. That's it.
Don't
I'm
care.
done.
Don't care about swimming. Don't care about gymnastics. I will care
Track
about
and
golf.
field.
I will care a little bit about tennis. I love track and field. I'm going to watch a lot of it. I mean,
Okay.
shit, I'll watch some handball.
I mean, I'll probably try to tune into some velodrome, some rowing.
I'm more into the New York Mets, so
I saw this story.
They've done. I mean, who knew? Get Grimace to throw out a pitch, and all of a sudden you go on a tear.
this is about. Oh my God, that's what this is about. Oh my God, that has been the theme for the New York Mets.
For those of us who have no idea what you're talking about.
Julio Iglesias is a utility player for the Mets, but also was a recording artist at some point and put out a song, Oh My God.
Didn't he also do
Julio Iglesias?
Feliz Navidad?
The Julio
Stop it! Stop the nonsense! Anyway, so they kind of adopted this theme in their clubhouse. It spread out. It got out into the public, and now it's, we got a guy that made an OMG sign that they display in the. I mean, the way they won yesterday against the Atlanta Braves is, just remarkable. They've had a remarkable turnaround.
Well, that's interesting.
And please, I want people to stay out of New York sports that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That would be the local ESPN radio hosts here in town. Please stop talking about the Jets because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You just don't. Oh, Aaron Rodgers, he's going to need to play great for them to. I think USA Today, one of their writers, picked the Jets to win the Super Bowl. Unless you watch the Jets and you didn't, you got no idea what kind of team they are. Excuse me. And they got a stacked roster. Stacked. They don't need great play from Aaron Rodgers. They just need to have competent play from Aaron
I will still
Rodgers.
bet against them.
Jeff Bexler was their quarterback a year ago. That's how bad he was.
Yeah.
But
And they won 7 games.
I mean, it's almost. I mean, for the Jets, it's in the AFC. It's kind of the same problem as like the Cowboys in the NFC. Yeah, you can have Super Bowl aspirations, but you got a lot of mountain to climb to get there. I mean, you have the Chiefs ahead of you. You have the Ravens ahead of you. The Bills, if they can ever get their act together. I don't
Jets
think
are better than the Bills.
I don't think the Jets win the division.
I think they do.
Watch out for the
I'd be
Steelers.
surprised if they don't.
Watch out for the Steelers. Just going to say that. It's early. I saw that an Aussie field hockey player had his finger amputated right before the Olympics. Did y'all see this?
Well, why wouldn't you?
He like split his finger in a game or something, and it was like dangling by a thread. And they said, "Well, we can wire it back together, but it'll take 6 weeks to heal, and you can't play in the Olympics." He said, "Fuck it, just cut it off." So he cut off his fucking finger
To play in the Olympics.
to play in the Olympics. I'm like totally impressed by this. That is so Australian, by the way.
They do it like with a butcher's cleaver.
I
just
assume so.
right on a
That's-
butcher block. Bang!
I mean, that's how I picture it. Yeah.
Was it a guy named Vincenzo that did it? We're gonna need to cut off your finger. Speaking of crime,
Wow.
we talked about this before the show. How far have we gone on this program so far?
I don't know. That was just an interesting segue.
I know. We weren't speaking about crime. And he goes, speaking of crime.
Well, Italian mafia and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
All right, so this drove me crazy. We talked about it before the show. A Texas high school coach in town for the big Texas high school coaches convention here got killed this week in San Antonio by a stray bullet while just sitting at an outdoor patio bar here in San Antonio.
Yeah, it's like a block away from where we are right now.
Likely coming from a shooter, according to the police chief. Driving on I-37 decides to shoot his gun out of his car, or whoever out of a car. There's a story on locally in Express News about, the perception now is that it's wild, wild west in San Antonio because we've had 3 shootings in downtown in the last 3 months. Okay, I don't know what the perception is, but here's the truth. The truth is there's too many goddamn guns in the state of Texas, and that's the problem. You can't have people shooting guns out of their car. Because I'm sure the guy who shot his gun out of the car wasn't looking to hit somebody and kill somebody with that stray gun. But the fact that the guy has a gun in his car just tells you there's too many goddamn guns.
Yeah, unfortunately, that toothpaste is out of the tube and can't be put back in. And I'm not disagreeing with you a little bit, or particularly, but I will add that really what it's about is responsible gun ownership.
Mm-hmm.
No responsible fucking gun owner takes a shot at something without a target.
But those people will say, well, they're not. It's the bad guys who have the guns. Well, listen, the kid maybe it wasn't a kid. Whoever it was wasn't necessarily. Were they being bad people by shooting a gun out of a car?
Yes.
No, they're not, because they're used to having a gun in the car. It's like having an empty cup in your car. Everybody has one.
It's more than that, Walt. It's the proliferation of guns means that even assholes who aren't responsible gun owners can easily get one. And that is the problem. This person driving down the highway never should have been the kind of gun owner who would take a shot at something without a target.
It's easy. It's this idea that easy access to firearms. I mean, it's the unintended consequences of our fetishization of the Second Amendment.
Thank you. Yes.
I mean, responsible gun ownership, and it's the lobbying efforts of the NRA of blocking anything that's reasonable.
That's right.
The ATF on all their background checks still maintains paper records.
The NRA, if they would actually give a shit, they would be trying to get responsible gun owners to limit the number of guns that are out there, thus creating a market where the guns that we already own become more expensive and harder to get.
And there's so much of an ongoing effect of all that. I did something. I heard about a guy, Navy veteran, PTSD, shot by police. He was having a domestic incident with his wife and actually did come out onto the porch and with a knife, and he got shot 4 times. And I started looking up statistics of the number of people that get killed by police in this country.
It's terrible. And by the way, there aren't great numbers on that
compared to the rest of the developed world. And admittedly, this is my stark comparison. Republic of Ireland, where the leprechauns live, and Joe Biden will go back and retire to. Oh my God. In the year 2023, do you want to know how many times a Garda, an Irish police person, discharged a firearm? Not shot another human being. I mean, just shot their gun.
A dozen times.
2.
That's incredible.
I'll take
2.
And to defend the police on that, though, when you don't know whether or not the other guy has a gun, it makes it a lot easier to pull the trigger
That's
first.
the problem. You put the guns in everyone else's hands. You have to arm the police, and it becomes an armed encounter. And people do stupid things with guns. You put a gun in your car, sociologically and psychologically, they've done studies. You are more apt to engage in road rage because you know you have that gun to defend you if it gets nasty.
I got twice a gun was pointed at me while I was in my car.
Well,
really, Walter?
If I had a gun, I'd point it at you in here like twice a month.
Twice, because they drive like lunatics. Guy cuts me off on 1604. I'm going up on a Saturday up to iHeart to do the radio show. He cuts me off. I beat my horn. I flash my lights, and then I pull up alongside of him and go like, "What the hell are you doing?" And then he pulls his revolver and points it right at my face.
Wow.
And I go, "That's enough. I've had enough." I told my wife a couple of weeks ago, I said, "I'm out of here." She says, we're not going anywhere. I said, what do you mean we're not going anywhere? I said, I want to get the hell out of here. She says, we're not moving anywhere until I'm, until we got 7 more years until the kids are out of school. It's like, okay.
Then where are you going to go?
I'd like to go to Italy. That would be my destination.
That's not a bad idea.
Apparently, there are places where you can buy a house for $1.
Yes.
Because you know what? This country used to be the greatest country in the world, and now it's arguable.
Very arguable.
Yep.
Walter, you were telling me in pre-show that you had some restaurant review or something.
All right, I'll give you a quick restaurant review, even though we've been going on this podcast for like 2 hours already.
Nobody's listened to us in a month.
All right, so
and probably not listening to this either.
Here's my restaurant review. Mari e Monte is a new Italian restaurant. They're located on Heavener, right around the corner from the Spurs' old practice facility, which is Eckert. One of those roads.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's Mari e Monte, Maree Monte.
So what is that? Sea and mountain?
I don't know.
Yeah, that would be sea and mountain.
Anyway, the guy that owns it, his name is Prince. He's a lovable human being. Heard about it on Facebook, I think. Went there the first time. He greeted us like we were family. We sat down, had a wonderful dinner. They don't have a liquor license. They may now because we haven't been there in a couple of weeks. But because they didn't have a liquor license, they poured red or white wine. What do you like? And
nice.
Whenever you wanted it.
Wonderful.
So it was free wine, which made things a lot better. And the food's delicious, and it's not crazy expensive. And so we went there a couple of times. Then we took my kids there for their 15th birthday. And I said to the owner, I said, we'll have cake as long as you're singing happy birthday. So he came over, candle and cake, singing happy birthday.
Nice.
And it's a smallish restaurant. It's, in every restaurant in San Antonio is like eating at a cafeteria, we all know. But this isn't that way. It's a small... Huh?
I don't know what that...
No, just
was
continue.
That a shot?
Every restaurant in San Antonio is a cafeteria. I mean, I've been to restaurants in What restaurant in San Antonio is a small restaurant? None of them. You're all smushed together. It's loud. It's noisy in every restaurant.
I don't think you're going to the right restaurant.
This is a nice.
Okay, just continue.
This is a nice, nice casual atmosphere. It's terrific in there, and so the whole restaurant sang "Happy Birthday." It was really cool.
I think what I just heard was the difference between a North Sider and two people who live in Central San Antonio. Like, yeah, maybe a lot of the restaurants in your neighborhood are cafeterias, but not the ones I go to. Not the ones downtown, not the ones on the west side, not the ones on the east side, not the ones Central San Antonio.
That might be the case, because I remember we went to the highly rated Il Forno pizzeria.
Southtown.
In Southtown. And that's a smallish restaurant. Yeah. And that's terrific. If you like your pizza in a wood burning stove.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you like pizza, Florio's right outside downtown as well.
Florio's is very good.
And have either of you guys taken advantage of gone to the Rock at the Plaza?
I have not.
The new Spurs facility?
I have not. I have friends who have, and they laud it.
It is a great, neat place to bring a family. They have a splash pad for the kids, a bunch of like artificial turf, and they just opened up a Tuscan Italian-inspired Rocco and Mario by Jason Dady.
Yeah, Jason's a great chef.
Translates to Rock and Hammer.
Yeah, makes sense.
Ode to the Spurs.
Yeah.
One more note for me. I think we've mentioned on this program about me trying to get a job at McDonald's, which did not go well.
I've
for
never
whatever
heard
reason.
of somebody being turned down by McDonald's.
I
have to tell you.
I was turned down by. I told you the story about McDonald's.
What was he applying for? I mean, what was he applying for?
I'm applying for just a service member. Yeah, whatever. At McDonald's. I told you the story, didn't I?
You did, but
about McDonald's,
not on air. I don't
about
think.
the guy. So I get an interview at McDonald's next to my house. I get turned down. I get a second interview at the same McDonald's by a different person. He said, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't hire you. I'll send you the information. So I go through a 2-hour orientation online for McDonald's, for that particular McDonald's. I get to the point where I then have to go for the food handler certification process. I already have one as an owner of a food truck. I have a food handler manager's certificate. So I had gotten to that stage, which kind of put a little bit of roadblock because, it wouldn't advance me. So, and then all of a sudden it gets turned on to me. We want to thank you, but we're not going to further your application. I go, what? What the hell's going on here? I don't understand. So I go to the McDonald's that I'm interested in working with and the guy who hired me. And so as I'm walking towards McDonald's, the guy that hired me is at the takeout window with an ice cream cone ready to hand it to a customer. I said, oh, good. That person Simon is there today. Fantastic. I go into the restaurant. I said, hi. I said, I need to talk to Simon. Oh, he's not here. I said, he's not here.
Chicken shit.
He was just there 5 seconds ago in the window. I saw him. Yeah, well, he's not here. I said, you mean to tell me he can't talk to me for 2 minutes? I'm sorry, sir. And I go, you got to be effing kidding me. So I said, screw it. So anyway, I've had different posts on Facebook. A guy reached out to me who is a big listener of Ticket 760 back in the day, Don Bonin. Terrific guy, knows the history of everything from the Dr. Crouch, you're a fucker outburst on the radio to whatever, to me and you on the show.
Okay.
So Don owns a charity auction business on San Pedro, 15733 San Pedro for that matter. And what he does is he has a store full of sports collectibles, everything you could possibly think of. Cowboys, Spurs, all kinds of stuff. So what they do is they bring items to like a golf outing. You go to a golf outing, you see like silent auction items. That's from Don Bonin Charity Auctions. So that's what we do. So Don said, hey, if you're looking for a little part-time gig, I got one for you. So I started working there 2 weeks ago. I love it.
That's awesome. It seems like a perfect job for you, frankly.
Because it's when a lot of how he sold me on it was, children with cancer charities and stuff like that. And I heard that and I go, perfect. That's what I want to do. So good. I get to call up these children's charities and see if we can help them, because what we do is, we'll bring a Jose Altuve jersey. And as long as it reaches the level we need it to, the charity gets 50%. We get 50%. That's how we make our money. That's how the charity makes our money. We don't charge anybody anything.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
I do too.
It's good for you. I think that'll work.
It's just a little part-time gig, and it's just a little extra spending income, and there you go.
So holler at Walter anytime you guys are hosting your fundraisers out there.
That's right. Golf outings, let me know. Go to Facebook. You can track me down there and just let me know. Hey, you got a golf outing coming up, because we got a shitload of them between now and October. So if you want to get great stuff at your silent auction, get in touch with me immediately.
All right.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Anything else before we go?
No.
Well, I can't wait. Let's do this again next week. It's nice to be back.
Sounds good.
I'm busy.
All right.
Peace.
How y'all feel out there? Do you feel good? I said, do you feel good? Come on. The groove feel good when it make you move. Make your next move your best move. I said the